in 1978 in a small rented garage in Bengaluru with just Rs 10,000 and an idea that most people did not understand. A young entrepreneur began a journey that would transform India's biotechnology industry forever. Her name was Kiran Mazumdar Shaw. At that time, biotechnology was not a recognized industry in India. Venture capital did not exist, research infrastructure was minimal, and for a young woman to start a science-based company was almost unheard of. Before founding Biocon, Kiran trained as a brewer in Australia, a field dominated entirely by men. When she returned to India, she applied for jobs in breweries but was rejected repeatedly. Not because she lacked skills, but because companies did not believe a woman could work in production environments. That rejection became the catalyst. With support from her father and a partnership with an Irish biotech entrepreneur, she founded Biocon India in a garage. The early days were defined by scarcity. There were frequent power cuts that disrupted fermentation processes. Equipment was often improvised. Hiring trained scientists was difficult because biotechnology was still an unknown field in India. So Biocon started with something strategic: industrial enzymes. Enzymes required relatively lower capital compared to pharmaceuticals, had export potential, and allowed the company to build fermentation expertise. It was not glamorous, but it was smart. Within a few years, Biocon became India's first company to export enzymes to the United States and Europe. This was a major milestone, a garage startup from India supplying high-quality biotech products to global markets. But Kiran Mazumdar Shaw was not building a small export business. She was building a biotechnology company. In the 1990s, when most Indian pharmaceutical companies focused on small molecule generics, Biocon made a bold and risky shift into biopharmaceutical research. This required investment in recombinant DNA technology, cell culture, and large-scale biomanufacturing, areas that demanded capital, regulatory knowledge, and long development timelines. It was a high-risk move. Biologics are far more complex than traditional drugs. They require sophisticated manufacturing, strict regulatory compliance, and extensive clinical validation. At the time, very few companies in Asia had these capabilities. Biocon built them from scratch. The company invested in fermentation technology, developed capabilities in statins and insulin, and created one of Asia's largest biomanufacturing facilities. More importantly, it focused on affordability, producing high-quality biologics at lower cost to improve access in emerging markets. This was not just business, it was a public health mission. Then came the next evolution, the creation of Biocon Biologics, a dedicated biosimilars business. Biosimilars represent one of the most complex segments in the pharmaceutical industry. They require demonstrating similarity to reference biologics through analytical studies, clinical trials, and regulatory submissions across multiple global agencies. Entering regulated markets like the United States and Europe is one of the toughest challenges in pharma. Biocon Biologics did it. The company developed and launched biosimilars for insulin, trastuzumab, pegfilgrastim, and other critical therapies for diabetes and cancer. It formed global partnerships, built large-scale manufacturing infrastructure, and obtained approvals from major regulatory agencies. What started as an enzyme company in a garage had become a global biosimilars leader. But the journey was not just about products, it was about building an ecosystem. Kiran Mazumdar Shaw helped create India's biotechnology talent pool. She invested in research, encouraged innovation, and demonstrated that India could move beyond generics into complex biologics and biosimilars. She also broke barriers. As one of the first women to lead a global biotech enterprise, she changed the perception of leadership in science and business. Today, Biocon Biologics is a fully integrated global company with end-to-end capabilities, from cell line development to large-scale manufacturing to regulatory approvals across multiple markets. From Rs 10,000 in a garage to a multi-billion-dollar biologics enterprise, the story of Biocon is not just a business success. It is a story of scientific vision, regulatory perseverance, strategic risk-taking, and long-term investment in innovation. It proves that biotechnology is not built overnight. It requires patience, compliance, infrastructure, and belief, especially when the ecosystem does not yet exist. Kiran Mazumdar Shaw did not wait for India's biotech industry to grow. She built it. And in doing so, she positioned India as a global force in affordable biologics and biosimilars. From a garage to global markets, Biocon's journey is a reminder that world-class science can start anywhere, Even with Rs 10,000 and an idea,